I'm speaking with.
Joe Lalley from Viacom Media Networks.
And Joe, you gave a phenomenal presentation, which was a case study about optimizing a mobile MTV site. And what I loved is how you started by looking at your data of your first site and how the traffic wasn't what you wanted to be. What recommendations would you give to someone else who's also getting traffic via mobile, but not what they wanted to do? What should they be looking at?
Well, for starters, and this is sort of baseline and obvious, have reporting on your site. So have analytics set up so that you can track, and also know what metrics are important to you. So for us, repeat visits, page views per user, page views per visit, those were important stats to us. So those were the things that we looked at first. So I'd say have reporting, then decide what metrics are important to you, and then start understanding what you would do to change those. And don't make a big long plan and then build it and then walk away. Do little things, tweak little things, and iterate along the way as rapidly as you can. And I think eventually you get to a good place.
What were some surprise behaviors in mobile that did not match what you knew from, web-based, navigation?
So the biggest one that we found in this case study, so when you look at a big desktop website, there's a lot of real estate to work with, and it pretty much follows a print model. There are blocks and locations for different content, and people have gotten used to this model. What we found on mobile is that a homepage of a mobile site more is used as a navigational jump-off point. So less about content consumption and more about getting to more content. So that was the biggest thing we had to come to grips with, was putting less content on the homepage and more navigational tools that were really useful to users, which is different than the traditional desktop model.
I was also not surprised that everyone demanded search, and not just search, but access to everything. How did that sort of manifest itself? How did you realize that?
So we in terms of search, we thought it. We just really needed somebody to validate it for us, which was our users, and they certainly did. They said it right away. I think one reason we hadn't done it yet is that a lot of sites still don't have search on mobile, but it's a use case that people are really used to from the desktop. So that was an easy one, and one we kind of expected to see, and the user testing gave us great reason to do it. So that was one not so surprising thing, but one thing that had a lot of impact.
And what were, speaking of impact, just boil it down, what were the 2 or 3 significant changes you made to the site that had the biggest impact in usability and stickiness?
So the first one was making that homepage a really good navigational tool. The second one was we knew that lots of people were entering through an internal page, like a news story. Giving them other things to do once they've read that story was really effective. So recommendations based on what other users have seen. So news stories that are sort of similar, photos that are related to a news story. Giving them other things to do once they're there, because the fact that they've searched for a news story, ended up on our site, has shown a lot of intent. There's interest. We want to keep them there and give them more things to interact with. So those are the 2 biggest changes.
Excellent. Hey, thank you so much for your time, Joe.
Thank you.